In the intermittent fasting, it's basically an eating schedule going for blocks at a time without eating. Now let's talk about what happens in the body with intermittent fasting. How and why you may want to try it for yourself. Now, basically, it's the last meal of the night to your first meal of the next day. Now, it starts at the last time that you actually ate some food. I mean, anything. So if you eat something at 8 o'clock dinner time and you don't eat anything until 6 the next morning, that's when you broke the fast, unless you're consuming water. Now, it's not the size of what you're eating, it's the fact that you're breaking the fast. So even if you put some almonds in your mouth in the morning, you broke the fast. So, and we fast every day. When we go to bed at night until the next day, that we're in an intermittent fast. And the intermittent fasting helps to control blood sugar. Now, we're not meant to be eating every couple of hours. Our body needs time to dip into fat stores. I know you've been told and trained by the world to eat every couple of hours, but that's not right. Now, the benefits of the intermittent fasting, we will be using intermittent fasting to help you get into ketosis, which will decrease blood pressure, inflammation, inflamed tissue that disrupts our hormones. Now, the oxidative stress is the rusting of your body inside out. Faster cellular turn off. Now, you will also get an increase in your fat burning. Now, when we dip into ketosis, we're burning fat as opposed to burning glucose. And that will trigger an increased hormone known as HGH, which is something we all have naturally. But the more HGH we have, the younger and better we feel, and an increased metabolic rate. Now, I was brainwashed that if you're not eating every few hours, then your body's going into a starvation mode, and it makes it very difficult to lose weight. Well, that was difficult for me to accept because I had been brainwashed and trained to eat every few hours. Well, your metabolic rate, some of you all know it as your metabolism. It doesn't slow down if you're not eating frequently. That's just a myth. Yes, Cherokee and I have looked at the research, and you know Cherokee is one of the top natural herbalists in the world. She's traveled the world and learned holistic healing and all about health. So we looked into the metabolic rate when people were fasting, and actually the metabolic rate increased. Now, it is also incredibly beneficial for appetite control. That intermittent fasting helps control your appetite. Now, when fasting, the ghrelin and leptin, those are hunger hormones. They're regulated. Now, some of us fear fasting because we may feel like we have been deprived. But if you actually feel full and you don't feel like eating so much. So imagine what it would feel like if you had your appetite regulated naturally. The intermittent fasting will also help lower your glucose levels. Now let's recap. The reason why we might want to test the intermittent fasting, first, it's going to help us regulate our appetite. That's controlling our appetite where we don't want to eat as much. It's also going to reduce blood insulin levels. Now, most people fear fasting because they think that, like I said earlier, they will be in a starving mode and they're going to have low energy. But that's not true. And the most comfortable way is getting your body in a state of ketosis. Now, we can all get in a state of ketosis by running through all of our sugar stores. See, once we run through all of our sugar stores by altering our diet and eating a high fat and low carbs, that's the second way to eat nothing. So what we want to do, we want to alter our diet and we want to eat high fat and low carbs. Okay? Now, and we're going to extend the block of time while we're fasting, because once we extend the block of time, we're going to be burning through the sugar stores. Now, imagine how powerful it is by combining that intermittent fasting and a diet that's higher in fat and low in carbohydrates. You're going to find it so much easier to control your appetite and to go longer periods of time between meals to reduce that body fat, also to reduce inflammation and to regulate hormones and to kickstart your weight loss. I mean, the weight's going to start falling off then. The reason most people aren't doing the intermittent fasting, they don't know about it. And the ones that do don't have an open mind. They've been brainwashed. Now, some of them don't understand how it works. So if you've never done it accurately, well, don't worry about that. You can start now. And this intermittent fasting and going into ketosis, once we burn those sugars, that means we're not going to be as hungry anymore. Now, the reason we're doing all of this is to restore our metabolic function, to burn more fat and burn more calories, which is going to help us lose weight. Everything starts in the gut, and over 80% of the population has a leaky gut. And I know a lot of you all have never heard of the leaky gut, but we're going to go more in depth in the leaky gut, and I'm going to explain that to you. But it basically means the food and nutrients that we're eating are not being properly absorbed. So think about that. The human gut, boy, it plays a major role in weight loss. Now, we can starve down our gut ball in less than 48 hours. And let's talk about transitioning yourself to intermittent fasting. Now, we can do it cold turkey, or we can do it gradually by eating up our first meal at a later time.